All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the Marble Palace. It's the Paul Harrell program. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. Senator Linda Collins-Smith is with us. Welcome back, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Paul. We're so glad you're here.
I'm glad that you're here. So, once again, in Judiciary Committee in the Senate yesterday, you were running a bill. And, there's a few articles about it. One in the Gazette, the headline, Bathroom Bill Stalls in Arkansas Senate Panel held for later. But one of the things it mentions is that there was actually a crowd in that room trying to stop this bill. And I understand they were actually quite disruptive. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a shame to see people be that unruly when they should be respectful at a hearing or at a committee meeting. And it was just more disappointing that the chair didn't call them down. It was legislators that immediately responded, because we do not usually have those types of outbursts or rudeness, and their actions were actually quite rude, not just even outbursts.
I heard there are times where the crowd laughed, according to reports, but they were laughing in just like a mocking way.
Yes.
Man, that is ridiculous. So you're saying, did Jeremy Hutchinson, did he gavel them down at any point?
It was a real effort by legislators, Senator Rice and myself. And Senator Rice was, of course, I was speaking farther down as the presenting a bill, and I had said about the time Senator Rice said something to.
What did he say?
Well, he was, to control the crowd. It was about controlling these outbursts that are so rude and disrespectful, and there was no reason for them to even be being loud. And so he had told him to quiet it down. At that time, I was saying, are you going to allow this? Because it's not normal in our committees. Senator Garner became very bold and outspoken of respect and decorum in our.
Good for him.
Yes, he did.
Good
and
for him.
All of us, we were quite surprised. And we were surprised, I think, more than anything that they did it, but that the chair allowed it to go on.
Now, did somebody go get Capitol Police at some point?
Yes, it was. Isn't it disappointing? And it's really kind of sad that another legislator visiting the chamber had to go out and get the Capitol Police because the chair wasn't controlling the crowd.
Wow. Okay. And that was Senator Clark, Alan Clark, that went and got the police?
Yes, and Senator Clark didn't bring that up, and I didn't. You've already heard that, apparently.
Yeah, I heard it earlier. Here's the thing.
There were some other people visiting to watch.
We just talked to one, Ken Yang, who was in the room. But so it's interesting because I would think with issues like this, we've seen how violent the left can get, just generally, ever since Donald Trump's been elected. So it was probably something good to go and preemptively, hey, we might need to get the police in here, because you really don't know how quickly something like that could turn.
Well, it's just not acceptable. The chair just has to. It was just an obvious that this chair doesn't like this bill. That morning we had a full quorum. He wouldn't let me present the bill once again. He does everything that he can to take these conservative bills and stop them. Yeah. And it's a sad thing. But, look at it not as a conservative or liberal. This is a safety. It's a privacy and dignity for all people with whatever their needs are.
I've only heard one outburst, down here, and it was met, and I think it was Matthew Shepard's committee down at the House end, and there was some applause. Somebody made a liberal point. There was a bunch of liberals, and they all applauded. I mean, and the gavel was swift, and it was like, you will be removed if you say another word. I mean, it's that's just the way it's supposed to be done down here.
Exactly. It is the way it's supposed to be done. We have to listen to these bills. They have their opportunity. If someone wants to speak, they can sign up to speak for or against the bill. And to have respect, and it's like, if you can't obey those rules, at least have that respect. Maybe you just shouldn't come if you can't control yourself, if you're uncontrollable.
They're talking with Senator Linda Collins-Smith. This bill is being dubbed a bathroom bill in the media, but the bill has nothing. I mean, this is about privacy. It's broader than bathrooms, really. Tell us what this bill does, Linda.
It's very apparent when people sit in and listen to the bill instead of just regurgitating what someone else tells them. When I always ask them, have you read the bill? Well, no. Well, then you need to read the bill. Because when you see it, it's not at all what people are thinking. And it's certainly not the North Carolina bill. Doesn't come close to the North Carolina bill. Circumstances are different. And this bill actually, we believe, can lead the way to a true Privacy and Safety Act for instance, schools. If you go on a trip or if you go in the showers, you need to be able to give respect to everyone and certainly privacy. And, there's a natural fear that comes when a woman has, like, a male come in the room. There's just a real fear. It's automatic, and even for girls to undress in front of other girls, they have a real self-consciousness. But what if you have an issue? What if you have a personal issue that you need dealt with? This allows the schools to handle any special request so that there's dignity and privacy for all. Yeah. And this allows our schools need something. They don't have what they need. When you can threaten, or you can go in the girls' restroom or the boys' restroom or the showers or the trips with each other, and you've got mixed company, it creates havoc, and there's always problems, and we all know that. And people need to talk about it bluntly. When you've got daddies and you've got grandparents and grandpas saying we have to do something because we can't continue this. This allows our schools to set policy so that they can know what to do next. What do we do if that happens? And unfortunately, we heard testimony yesterday about those things happening. That's why this bill is important. It's not the North Carolina bill. And you know what, Paul? It doesn't deal with public. It doesn't deal with private businesses at all.
Yeah.
None. And when we gave that bill, there were even reporters asking me questions that said, those that asked me a lot of those questions actually said this is not like North Carolina at all. It was truly, they got it. Mm-hmm. That's the reporters. Yeah. But yet there were some of the reporters there that may have recorded a word or two and left, but they wanted to interpret it the way they wanted to.
Exactly.
And some of those reports from some of our standard regulars just didn't come out the way that the bill was presented, nor the way the people perceived it.
Well, it's because the statewide media, they're just as corrupt as the national media, and they want they want a story even if there's not one there. They'd like to fan the flames and get the liberals to think that there's something really bad going on here that they can get behind. We don't have a lot of time left. We got a minute and a half. Governor Asa Hutchinson has not wanted anything to do with anything even labeled a bathroom bill, even if this is not what this specifically is. So hopefully we can get this out of committee. But what are your thoughts on the governor's opposition to not wanting to deal with the protests that might come from something like this?
And it's like I said in committee, I can't imagine that the governor of the state of Arkansas doesn't want safety for our children. And I think that was the key, and I think that's what people understood. This bill is about those things, privacy and dignity for all. And how can you not want that bill? This makes sure they get it. This makes sure all people with any special need gets dignity from Arkansas, from the public facility areas or in their schools, that they have, keep their dignity, have privacy, and that they're safe. This covers, it's for everyone. And why wouldn't we want that?
Yeah, I would agree with you. Why wouldn't you want something like that? Senator Linda Collins-Smith, I know you got a busy rest of the day. We appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, Paul.
Folks, we're up against a hard break. It's the Paul Harrell program from the Marble Palace. The Liberty Machine rolls on back in just a moment.